Welcome back, West Michigan. I'm Sandy Plouff, your hostess for Sense and Sensibility, and we're talking to Rick Tolle, and he is an attorney who specializes in Social Security. Right now we've been talking about Social Security disability. So we were talking about the length of time somebody might have to wait if the need was not dire from application to the time they actually received Social Security benefits for disability. Kind of sounds like it might be as much as a couple of years. Is that right?
At this point, yes, they've hired new judges to evaluate cases, but it takes them a while to get these folks geared up and to actually be hearing those cases. There's also a tremendous backlog nationwide and specifically also in the state of Michigan, and the 1.5 to 2 year wait is the current backlog. Now, the Social Security Grand Rapids Office of Hearings has taken some initiatives. They've been very competent and aggressive at asking judges outside of our region, from cities such as Chicago, Texas, New Orleans, Houston, Texas, and different places, different judges in different areas that don't have the high backlogs that we do in West Michigan. They've asked those judges to step in and take some of our cases.
Wow.
And so that's happened. But what we do is we show up at the hearing, and the judge is on a big 60-inch wide screen in a remote setting. They can be out in San Rafael, California, but they look like they're right there in the room because they're life-sized, and the hearings are performed that way. They're also videoing us, and it's like a space-age courtroom where you're out there in the abyss. You know, we're online and having our hearing on the air, so
Wow.
to speak.
Okay. Next question. If you once get onto Social Security disability and you really do want to work, can you?
Yes, they have a back-to-work program that's quite good. It allows people to attempt to earn money without losing their Social Security benefits right away. And over a period of 9 months to 2 years, claimants can earn some money and even earn money over what is otherwise substantial levels, which would normally keep them from qualifying for benefits, but will allow them to remain on Social Security until we're sure, until their job has been secured, their physician and the claimant themselves is able to perform that job long term, and only then do Social Security benefits cease after that trial work or extended trial work time has occurred. And people should investigate this program. Going back to work and earning money is not always a bad thing. We find that our mental health, our outlook on life, and our self-worth is so much more enhanced by getting out there and earning money. And we always encourage people to work if they can.
Right.
And also, if you're in the application mode, applying for benefits, we encourage work attempts and job applications, because judges look on this, and the courts actually have decided that unfavorable work attempts or job attempts actually work in a claimant's favor. It shows that they're out there trying, that they've actually, it becomes Exhibit A. If you try to go back to work or you take a temp job and the company says, you just can't keep up. Well, this is evidence, further evidence, that a person is unable to work. So work attempts by all means, and try and work. If you're within doctor's restrictions and the doctor says, go ahead and do it, don't push yourself too much, but it's never going to hurt you.
Wow. I have another question for you. Does Social Security interplay with like Medicaid or some of these other?
You know, it does, Sandy, and that's a very good question. Of course, Medicare benefits, and I'd like to explain when I'm talking to groups the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is like air. It's for everybody over 65 and for people who have been disabled 2 years. Medicaid is aid. It's help. It's help if we don't have the money. The state terms this medically needy. If your income is moderately low or very low, and depending on your circumstances, and you have a severe disability, if you're an individual claimant, then Medicaid becomes a resource to you. Now, many of our Social Security claimants apply for Medicaid, and it's highly recommended because that program starts instantaneously if you qualify. There's also something called state disability income, state disability benefits. The payment rate is much lower, but it allows sustenance or basic income for rent and personal needs pending the Social Security disability, because the timeline for Social Security applications is so long, and so it's a grueling process, and it takes a lot longer than our Department of Human Services, Michigan Human Services, social services, if you will. They go by a lot of names. The name changes every time we get a new governor, I think.
Right.
But we encourage people to apply for the Medicaid. We also attend and help people with those hearings. It's included in the whole program when we're representing Social Security claimants. So again, this doesn't cost the claimant any out-of-pocket money. People are always interested in that. Obviously, someone applying for Medicaid doesn't have a lot of money to spend on a lawyer, and so we're there for them, and we're there for you.
Right, and you of all people would know because you used to work for legal aid, didn't you?
You know, that's how we met Sandy. And you know, Sandy worked for Senior Services.
Right.
We don't want to date ourselves, but it was back in the 80s. And so we've come a long way, although the government and some programs have gone away, other ones have come and replaced their programs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, between critical need and some of this wounded soldier emergency stuff, they're trying to fill gaps where people are falling through the cracks. I mean, there's holes in that safety net out there. We know that. And you being in human services, Sandy, you knew and saw how some people who were deserving of benefits can get those benefits, were unable to get those benefits, and their neighbors, we watch our neighbors, and they don't look disabled, or they might be getting a benefit, and somebody might say, well, how come I have trouble walking, and I see them go jump in the car? Well, we don't know what their disability is. Right. It could be an emotional or a depressive syndrome, or some other syndrome that becomes exacerbated, or they have bad days and good days. We just don't know. It's hard to look at somebody. People that walk in our office look like you and I. They look like they're fully able-bodied, and these disabilities are hidden, and they're undisclosed as we see people in the everyday walk of life. So, but we examine cases thoroughly, and we leave no stone unturned when we're trying to find out how to present your case. And we build a theory to the case, which is important. The judges want to know, what's the theory of your case? Where's your roadmap, and how do you want to get there? And so this is something you need an attorney, in my view, to develop, or somebody who's trained in presenting those Social Security cases to the court.
Wow. We have covered just about everything with Social Security disability, I think.
I think so. And if there's more questions, they know where to find the answers.
Right. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and hopefully you'll come back and we'll investigate some other issues. What do you think?
I'll be back. Okay. I always enjoy it, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, West Michigan.